nice having you on our Thought Leadership series that's focusing on the data privacy and protection ecosystem in Nigeria. My name is Shino Badar. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, Shina. Thanks for having me on. My name is Olu Femi Ogundere. I am the MD CEO of Mary Nigerian Limited, and I am an IT practitioner of about 30 years experience, which has taken me globally. I've worked in Europe, in America, and in Africa. We got our license in 2019 from NICTA, which is the National Information Technology Development Agency. And this is the license to do compliance for all public and private companies in Nigeria on data protection, in the country, which is like a mirror of the GDPR, which is already in existence in Europe. So now we have the one called the NDPR, which is the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. And that's about it about me for now.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What has been the experience of the private and public sector organizations in complying with the NDPR that you just talked about, considering the fact that this regulation came into effect in 2019, and also the government institution responsible for this mandate thought that it should co-opt the private sector as data compliance organization to advance the enforcement of this regulation. So take us from 2019 that you've been part of this. What has been the experience?
Okay, thank you for that. It's been quite a funny or enjoyable ride, so to speak, because it's got its downs and its ups, advantages and disadvantages. Like data protection regulation is still in its infancy stage, so it's expected that things not to kick off or pick up right away. Private companies have been very, very encouraging. They've taken more to it than the public sector, which is lagging, but it's understandable. Like I said, it's still in its infancy stage. We've had so much of romance with the private companies who appreciate and who are enlightened and exposed. So the kind of people that we've come into contact with are people who've been around, who have relationships with companies outside the country, who understand the system already, understand GDPR already. So they warmed up to us and it was okay. The public sector have been like one reason or the other, maybe they think, do we really need this? The awareness is not really there. But with the encouragement from we DPCOs, which are data protection compliance officers, we've trained so many people on awareness with the help of the government, done so many programs to make people aware of what's going on through jingles in the paper and the news, radios and everywhere, through adverts in the papers. We've done so many things to encourage people and to make them aware of what's going on. And the response has been slow and steady, but it's encouraging. And the public sector too, they've picked up. And recently, the minister and the SGF, as the Secretary of Government, gave a directive on all ministries, departments, and agencies, the MDAs, to all make sure they comply with the data protection regulations. So this directive has really helped to push more the awareness. And with this, we know enforcement is going to come into place. And Nigerians, once there's no rule or there's no law, there's no offense. Now that it's going to come into law and everything, a lot of people have started getting a lot of information, some responses from people who now want to make sure they are compliant with the data protection regulation. So I can say initially it's been slow, the reaction and everything, but now everybody knows about it. Before you need to spend an hour explaining to people what this is all about. But now it's before you even said, oh, I know about it, I've heard about it. So it's now a case of if you want to get involved or not, or how important it is to them. But now with the government playing its role in making sure the bill will soon be passed now, this is going into the it's going to become law. So there won't be a case of like if you go to court, what you have against me, what can you hold me for? So now, thank God, things are moving very well in the right direction. And so to speak, it's actually encouraging now. It's not so much sour news like it was when we started. So for now, we're moving on. We're moving.
Okay, talking about moving in the right direction, let's return to the foundation. You said that the Nigerian version of the data protection regulation took its inspiration from the European Union version, the GDPR.
Sorry.
Why does any society, whether Nigeria or any for that matter, need or require data protection for its citizens?
Data, as we know, is a general word. Data has been in existence since before Jesus Christ. There's been the word data, because anything data is just information. So a lot of people confuse data, or what you mean by data. We've always known about data. But what we're talking about here is for data subjects, data about you and I, data about personal data, personal information, basically. So this impact and on data protection now, the awareness, people now understand about their rights, about their privacy rights. It's like nobody can do anything without getting my consent. Like before marketing is done, third party, your information is everywhere, everybody knows about you, they can sell your information here and there. But with the GDPR, which came into law a couple of years before we decided to do the same thing, and like I said, it's a mirror of GDPR, and we're doing exactly the same thing because now it's a standardized thing. What happens in Europe happens there, what happens in America, it's all over. So you know your rights, your data is protected all over wherever you go. So it's quite encouraging.
You also said in passing that there, and it's also been in the news, that there is going to be, there's already a proposed law in the pipeline, the Data Protection Act
Yeah.
bill of 2022, and which we also understand has been transmitted to the National Assembly. From the perspective of an ecosystem player in the Nigerian data protection ecosystem, what do you think this regulation, when it becomes, what do you think this incoming act would provide that is not currently provided for in the NDPR? Or what are those superior value propositions that we should expect?
Right, it's basically everything that's in the NDPR is what will be implemented. The only difference now is like the enforcement. Because awareness has always been awareness, useful information, people knowing their rights and everything. But the enforcement bit where you get fined for a percentage of your annual income or a fixed amount, when people know, it's like like having your tax done. It's going to prevent you from so many things. You're looking for contracts, you're trying to implement stuff. They tell you have to provide your tax clearance and get your tax or your company audited. So now with this coming to law, all those things will apply. Because people are already panicking anyway, because like the Federal Consumer Board, they've told some startup companies now that for you to even get on board, you need to get the approval of NDPR. You need to have your audit done and get the approval from them. So we get so many calls and messages from them saying, please, we want this, we want that. So what this is going to create, apart from what's already there, is the enforcement bit, which will help propagate this trajectory of the data protection regulation.
We've also seen that Nigeria is licensing some 5G, has issued some 5G licensing, which means that more and more there is going to be faster internet and a whole lot around that connected ecosystem. So, how do you think data protection fits into this major transition that we're expecting as 5G comes on stream in the Nigerian telecoms industry, and also taking more and more Nigerian consumers online and connected?
Like you said, the 5G is the newest generation of technology, and with this comes with the transformation of smart city, smart transformation, efficiency in medicine, automation, and so many things. So this creation of so many IT roles, IT jobs, basically Internet of Things, the awareness and transformation of all these things. And one thing that comes up with this that is connected with data protection is the word consent. So many things out there now, marketing, online marketing, digital marketing that comes from all this. And none of this can occur if you don't get the consent of the subject, the data subject. So consent comes in, not just you get the consent, they'll also have the right to withdraw consent. Before people consent, oh, I agree to this, that's fine. But now, with data protection regulation, you can actually withdraw your consent. You have the right to do that and say, I do not want this anymore. So this is going to have impact in so many ways, because like it's going to bring so much business, and there's no country, if you're doing businesses globally, even within the country or cross border, like I said, that would not ensure if we have data protection laws. Nobody wants to deal with you. And the advantage is brand, increases the brand value. Because once you know they have a data protection law, I can open up, I can do anything. My competitors don't have to have that information about me except I give them. And with government also, you have what you call spies all over the world that they can hack into your system and everything. So with 5G comes with so much technology, so much advantages, where we can bring in cyber security, information security, definitely data security, where we have confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So with this comes so many advantages. So it's a step in the right direction.
If it's a step in the right direction, it naturally takes us to the next question, and that will be, we talked about consent.
Right.
So if you're to provide information to Nigerians, what would you tell Nigerian consumers what they need to know about their data privacy rights?
That's one of my favorite areas. You have data privacy rights, you have subject access request concerns. They need to know about their data privacy rights. Very, very important. That consumers need to know that nobody can have rights to your information except you give them the right, which is the consent. Like somebody, me picking up something about you, like I said earlier on, picking up information about you maybe from a friend or from a newspaper or somewhere and just using it. It doesn't work like that anymore. So and like data controllers now, their business partners are data processors. So they work hand in hand. They know that, look, this is the standard. This has to fall within the rights of the subject, as in the data protection regulation. And so whatever the business partners, which are the processors, do, must impact or be the same as what the data controller who have the control of your, or the use of your data. So with this, the consumers have to know their data protection, they have to know their rights. That's the rights to erasure, which I mentioned earlier on. Rights to rectify, you can correct information people have about you. Rights to portability, when you can move, like my information is with Zenith background to move it to Access Bank. You have the rights to do all that now. So these are some of the rights that they have now. They know. Once they know what their rights are, it helps. And this promotes businesses, it saves cost, and increases ROI, and so many other benefits that come comes with it.
The Nigerian NDPR also created room for uh, data protection compliance organizations
Right.
like yours.
Right.
Okay, can you tell us, basically from the point of view of a layman, what do these DPCOs do? And as such, what is an organization like yours that you lead, Meria Consulting? How have they helped Nigerian organization to assist in meeting their data privacy compliance obligations and responsibilities?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, you mentioned DPCO. I'll tell you the full meaning of that. DPCO means Data Protection Compliance Organization, which my company, Mary Nigerian, is one of. We are one of the first sets of people that got the license to implement this. And what we've been doing is it's split into various roles. First and foremost is the awareness, creation of awareness. We've been training so many companies because a lot of people are intelligent, but people are only intelligent on what they deal with or what they work with. There are a lot of people out of ignorance that do not know some certain things because they don't work with it, they've never heard about it. It's in English language and everybody understands. Well, people, that's our lingua franca, so we understand English and whatever is said is exactly what it means. If I say protection, we mean protection cover. So people are just getting aware. So what we do as DPCs, first and foremost, is we train. We train people, organizations, people that actually handle data. We train them on exactly what they have to do, how they have to get consent from people, we have to tell people about subject access rights and co. Secondly, we audit. We take all your documentation, all your policies. We work with various departments, the IT, the procurement, the finance, the HR, so many important departments in every organization that deal with data. So we train them all and make them know exactly what they need to do. Because when we talk about data subjects, we're talking about even internal people, employees. Data have to be protected. They too have their rights. You cannot expose my information to another company without my rights. And there's a certain level of time retention period where you can keep my information. So this is not just external. Internal people are protected also. So with this awareness, training and everything, that's, like I said, the first and foremost thing we do for people, everyone now to understand. I cannot write information on a piece of paper and just dump it in the bin. Because if I put it in the bin and somebody picks up that information, sees information about Mr. Badiru, and which is, well, how did they get it? Well, because it was carelessly put in the bin. So part of our training is like, you have to shred it. You have to go into a shredding machine, and everything has to be inputted, not put in a register outside publicly and be writing information about people, about their names, their addresses, where somebody else who is putting his own can see and say, okay, now I have this guy's phone number and details now, I can contact him. So everything has to be done the right way. So we do that, we audit, like I said earlier on, we audit all the policies to make sure it's compliant with the data protection regulation. We also file to NICTA, who's our regulator. Now this is being changed now to NDPB, we'll talk about that later. So we audit and file it to the regulators. And so because they have a list of everybody that's compliant. So for you not to get into their black book, or for people that deal with your company, not to have a record that you do not comply with data protection regulation. So we do that yearly, we file. And also we actually recommend, that's what we call the remediation plan that we do at DPCOs. We tell you some DPCOs do not implement. They just tell you, it's like you bring in a consultant, an architect to your house, and he tells you things you need to do. They do not necessarily have to do some things. Then, when they've told you what to do, you now employ people. So some of us DPCOs are actually implementers. So after we recommend to you a plan that you need to put all these tools in place to stop you from breaching, to make you aware when you breach, you can quickly arrest the situation. All those tools, business processes and things, risk-based policies that you need to implement to secure you and prevent you from breaching and making sure you're compliant with regulation. So we do all that. We're We're not just auditors or people who just do compliance for regulation. We actually go, we do the nine, we go the full 9 yards, recommending and also implementing. So some people, but basically what's most important is you getting the audits done and making sure you're compliant with the regulation. The rest is the next level where I say we do the implementation. So that's what one of the things we do as DPCO. Mary does everything, like I said earlier on.
Okay. So based on experience, what insight do you think you can offer on in-country and cross-border enforcement of the NDPI rules, which require that all data controllers must obtain valid consent from data subjects before collecting, processing, and transferring their personal data? I say this because of the emphasis of cross-border. There's so many social media platforms that Nigeria freely log into and join, and they have absolutely no clue about what's being done with their information.
Right.
What can we learn from regarding this?
I'm happy you brought that up because we've spoken mainly about in country. So let's go a bit cross border, like what you mentioned, different countries or different platforms. Yes, first and foremost, when we're training and educating companies and organizations, we need to let them know how to first collect and capture data. That's very, very important. And the laws of every country varies. Maybe in Switzerland, it might be okay for you to put on any picture about me in Instagram. In Nigeria, it might not be okay for you to do that. So it's first and foremost, if you're dealing cross-border or dealing with any organization or company or country, you need to know what occurs there, what the laws are before you do anything. We all know pornography, child pornography, putting kids under 10 years old openly is not allowed in most countries. In fact, almost every country. So if you're going to put anything on Instagram, you know you shouldn't do that. There's some things we know. And data is split into two. We have structured data, which is the general data that we all understand that we do in the office, sending my information here and now. And we have what we call the unstructured data, which is exactly what you talked about. Emails, Instagrams, blogs, all this stuff, or writing your feedback on this and that, those are called unstructured data. And everything has to be audited. You have to be compliant. Everything. So the training we do gives you that education on all those things we're talking about. So that's why training is very, very key. First and foremost, and some people train 3-4 times over in a year, and they call them refresher. You call them whatever you want to call them. Well, some people think, oh, we know it all. Nobody knows it all. Even we training you, we're learning. As we're training you every day, we're learning too. There's so many areas to cover in this space. So that training, like I said, will cover everything to do with the cross-border. You know the arrangement between the countries. You know what you're meant to do and what you're not meant to do. Because the advantages to this, like I said earlier on, is brand value and business value. And this creates trust and obviously gives you commercial advantage. So for you to get involved with anything to do with personal information anywhere, you need to be aware of what you're doing and know what you're doing. So I would say awareness training is very, very key in this area. And once you're trained and you're aware, then you don't have any reason to.
Let's come back in country. What's been the experience of DPCOs with regard to the requirements of private sector institutions and public sector institutions to be compliant? We know that these two separate blocks usually provide different sorts of experience to DPCOs. Give us some insight. Does one size fit all for the private sector and public sector?
It is exactly the same thing. Data subjects, even people working in private sector or public sector, it's not about the office itself. It's basically about the people. It's a personal information issue. And you have people working in all these places we talked about. So the only difference, like some organizations like security based, like the military organization, the high office, like sensitive places where you have sensitive data, where you just have to be more careful, and that's going back to the training that Wayne's talking about. From this training, you understand which is highly sensitive and how to deal with it, which is the police, where it doesn't matter how you cover your data, they have the right to break into that, to come up with whatever information they get, because they're covered. There's some certain institutions that are covered, like the police, like I talked about, the NSA. The NSA now can get any data it wants to get if it's in the interest of the government or the public. So aside that, it doesn't matter if it's public or private, everything works, one size fits. Because like I said, it's not just data as a data, we're talking about personal data here. So we shouldn't confuse those two. It's personal data, so it's one size fits all for all.
So, to go to the next question, what steps can be taken to unlock the projected several millions of dollar revenue for the Nigerian economy in 2023 from data protection services market, as the Nigerian government has said it's creating a data privacy business ecosystem that will create jobs, promote innovation in the economy, and several other benefits that have been highlighted. Are these things up?
Oh yeah, well, it's the truth about you mentioned something to do with $1 million now. It's where we're dealing in it's a growing economy, and things because of digital economy, digital transformation, a lot of things have come into place, has opened up so many things, like employment for so many people, jobs, job creations, and with this obviously comes commercial advantage. And you cannot have so much internet around spread here without you having attacks and people hacking. So like I said, people are going to hack, so many things are going to come up, and so many experts will come on board also, where you have cybersecurity people to handle all that. So all this obviously leads to commercial advantage that I say is going to bring in jobs and money, cost of saving, this and that, revenue, increase in revenue. It's going to bring all that. But what matters most is like where data protection sits on all this is like nothing, no deal, no business, no development can be done without you protecting your data. Data, there has to be data security, there has to be confidentiality of data, integrity, and like I said, data has to be available out there. And when you have things like where you anonymize data, pseudonymize data, things are encrypted, people just do not get your data anyhow, things are done the right way, and it leads to confidence, trust with people who are dealing with you. They're happy, you have data pretty good. It's a lovely journey so far, so good. And it's just starting. There's so much room for improvement, room for enlargement, room for development, and definitely the benefits are there to be achieved, to be taken.
So talking about room for improvement for the Nigerian consumers out there, what do you recommend as the steps that they can begin to take to protect their data privacy rights and obligations as provided for in the NDPR?
Right. Yes, like I said, well, once the awareness, I'll keep going back to awareness. Once the awareness, everybody knows. Like if I go to a place now, I know what my rights are. As long as I know what my rights are, you can't take advantage of me. If I come into a market where I don't know my rights, anything can be thrown at me, and it will be difficult for me to defend myself or argue it out. So this is going to like be a big boost for consumers, because once I know my data protection rights are protected, and you cannot do anything without consent. I know all my data privacy rights. It's like I said earlier, we've gone through this earlier, and I said it's a major boost for consumers, and it's going to lead into increase in revenue, participation, and the trust. Like I said, the trust in the buyer, and once you know we have a process where all the data policies are being streamlined, everything's been done, the data governance is there, things, the people working, everybody's aware, everybody's doing things the right way, and the laws are there to protect everyone, then it's nothing but a smooth ride, smooth sailing.
Okay, so the world of data protection is a slightly specialized world. Give us some overview of the history of Maria, Nigeria, and why Maria choose to delve into this specialized world of data protection consultancy
Thank
as
you.
part of the several things that you do.
Thank you. Maria is 90, well, no more 90. We were 90% comprises of consultants from outside the country. Most of us are based or were based outside the country, all over Europe. We have consultants from Europe, we have consultants from America, we have consultants from Asia also, we have, yes, from Asia also. And some of us, if I say some of us, couple of us, decided to come to Nigeria when the GDPR started. I personally, as the MD CEO, I was working on so many projects on GDPR. I was one of the first set of people that worked in various areas, in the health service, in the commercial area, in different industries. Diverse industries, I actually got involved with that, and I felt, what's my country doing? So I came down to Nigeria and spoke to a couple of my colleagues. One of them too also came down from England, and we went to Abuja. We had a session with the DG of NICTA, who happens to be the minister for digital economy now. And he saw our idea and told him what we're planning to do. Yes, one or two people also have mentioned it. He too has one or two things in mind. And before we knew it, we kicked the ball rolling, and it just happened. It happened. Yes, like I said, it would take a while for people to still, it was in its infancy then. Now it's spreading every second, every minute of the day. And it was quite okay. Now we have, I would say 50% of us now are consultants outside the country, and 50% are people here, because a lot of people here have been trained. So we've got people that started working with us since 2019. Some people are still joining. So some of our consultants in Mali now are here, while some are outside the country. And like I said, we are IT practitioners, we're implementers. We're not, so the data protection bit came into play for almost everybody 3-4 years ago. Nobody can tell you he's been doing data protection law 5, 6, 7 years ago. That's not possible. But they've been doing IT forever. Yes, we agree, but not data protection law. So, but we caught on right when it started, and from our wealth of experience, we're able to share that with the organizations and companies we deal with in Nigeria, and due to our exposure and experience from outside the country. So things have been working well. The companies we've been dealing with have been satisfied, and they are repeat. We got what they call repeat customer relationship, where every year we do the same companies and other new companies too. So obviously that shows satisfaction from our clients. So we also implement, like I say, when we recommend things for you. We've been lucky. Some, I use the word some, have come back to us. Okay, come and implement this. Come and do penetration testing for us. Come and handle our information security. Come and do a risk-based analysis, whatever for us. So it's been exciting, and I know, like I said, there's room for improvement, room for development, because it's a big industry. It's a massive industry where so much revenue can be generated for both parties. People looking for it and people giving it. So it's just an amazing industry. So for Mari, we thank God there's room for improvement also. Every day we learn also. Any new technology in play, we go for training, we send people out for training to make sure they master it and see ways in which we can implement it in the system or in the country. So it's been encouraging, and we're still at it. I'll keep at it.
Forecast, what do you see as the outlook, considering the social, economic factors and trends that you think will shape and define data privacy in Nigeria in 2023, particularly as well as beyond.
Okay. We first and thanks for that. First and foremost, we pray for a smooth transition into the next government, which we know by this time next month we might be going into a new government. And every government has known the importance of technology, and it's been improving. The previous government were not big on digital transformation. This government has been very big on digital transformation, and we pray and hope the next government will continue this and take it to a higher level. So things to look at, to watch out for, that is going to spread and be a big blast in 2023. First and foremost, we know Nigeria or Africa is playing catch up when it comes to digital transformation and IT generally. But we're there because most of us who are exposed, who have been around, have come down. And we have a good university system where a lot of people that study computer, ICT, and everything are quite intelligent enough. They understand. I can say even more than most of the people that are just doing the job in England. But what they just need is, like I said, the training, the awareness, the encouragement, most especially from the government. And thank God, like the recent directive by the SGF, which encourages data protection and companies to get involved with compliance and everything to do with data protection regulation. So more, it's going to drive the economy, it's going to drive so many positive things in the digital world. And like I said, going back to awareness, which is a very important thing, the awareness also now has made everybody, before hardly do, I don't think people work from home, only maybe the MDs and MD CEOs or top people that say, okay, I'm working from home. But now, apart from, well, COVID got that, the coming of COVID, like I always say, brought that up, where remote technology, telecomputing, teleconferencing came into play, where a lot of people can do exactly what they do in the office. They can do it from home, just log on and get the job done, connect. So and that's it. So this advent of technology in the system, it's going to continue, and in 2023, like the 5G we talked about earlier on now, it will get more people. It's going to bring more people. The more people will be involved, more people will be connected. It's going to connect so many people. There'll be that awareness. Everybody's my internet is not working, it's slow. Yes, I can do everything. Even whilst I'm in the car, I can connect with my phone and get my job done. What we're doing now, I can do it in the car. I can do it in the car. I don't have to be in an organized place to talk to anybody or to do any meeting. So this advent of 5G and everything is going to like drive so many people and improve the economy and increase revenue. Like I said earlier on, a lot of people will be connected, and also it's going to create more jobs. Like I said, IT people who are not even IT compliant, that need to be around IT people, and the training, a lot of people will be trained. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be commercially viable. There's so much commercial advantage with this, and thank God this is going to be passed. The bill is going to be passed hopefully this year, and like I said, enforcement will come into place. People will know we have to do it. So now people know they'll be punished for doing something they're meant to do. It's obviously going to increase the rights. As like I said, apart from revenue alone, reputation, there's what you call reputational damage. You don't want to have a reputation of like, oh, that company where your data is everywhere, that company where your data is not protected. So it's not just monetary damage. You have what they call the reputational damage, which that will be taken care of. Once people know, they will get punished for something they're meant to be doing and that they're not doing. So it's apart from revenue, principle wise, like I said, reputation, which will improve the brand value, it's going to increase the business value, and generally make the country a country safe enough for people to come into, to invest into our country. Because once you know things, there are laws, there are rules, and they're being guided and respected, people are happy to come into to your country, to invest in your country and do things with you, and which makes the place a better place to live and work. So that's basically what we're expecting this year, and special grace of God that will be achieved.
Is there anything we may have left out that you need to add before we shut down?
I think we've covered by not saying too much, we've covered most of the things I'd like to say, but I just want, like I said, the public, the private, yes, the government, our greatest problem before was government intervention, because they're the ones that can drive this seriously. Apart from we getting in touch and talk, we've done so much. DPCOs and other organizations have done so much. Even your organization has done a lot, because I read a lot about what you're promoting, what you guys are doing to make sure this thing works. So there's been awareness by various people, but the government is the key people to drive this, because they will enforce things. If I know nobody's going to arrest, nobody's going to do anything to me, or I may not give a care or a damn. But now that the government is getting involved, gradually and more important, more seriously, the sky is the limit. The sky is definitely the limit. So it's a step in the right direction, and we're looking for a very good 2023 within the digital economy.